Welcome to the Galakras 10-man normal instructional videos. This video will be discussing the Galakras fight on the stage 2 encounter. We'll be discussing their abilities, a setup, and some strategies to be used for the Galakras encounter. First we'll be discussing the abilities. Understanding the abilities will make it easier to understand the strategy and the setup. Galakras has two abilities. Both of them are AoE damage. Her first and probably the main ability here is the Flames of Galakras. Now I'll let you read that, but in short what this is saying is that a huge fireball will be coming forth from Galakras. Now as this fireball is traveling towards its target, it will be passing over other players. Each player that it passes over will receive 30,000 damage and a dot will be placed on them, and this dot will stack. However, once it reaches its final destination, the amount of damage that this fireball will do will be diminished by the number of players that it has passed over. So the more players that it passes over, the less damage that it does. However, more players will then have a dot placed on them. Her second ability is the pulsing flames. Now, this pulsing flames will again inflict 30,000 fire damage to all players. However, after each pulse that Galakras does do, the fire damage is increased by 3%. Now, this acts as more or less like a soft enrage. Getting through this faster means less damage from the fire damage. Now, to get a better understanding of her abilities, we're going to be discussing it a little bit better with the strategy and with the raid setup. In this diagram here, we show that Galakras is in this center. The tanks are facing Galakras away from the raid, and the raid is standing roughly about 20 to 30 yards behind Galakras. Now, if you are melee, you want to try to stand between Galakras and the raid. Standing with the raid with melee, you will be out of range for Galakras. So you either want to adjust the raid by standing closer to Galakras, or you can just have melee stand between the raid and Galakras, as long as they are in the path of the flames and are receiving those buffs. Debuffs, I should say. In this diagram here, we show that the targeted person for the Flames of Galakras is now behind the raid. This will ensure that the path of the fireball will travel over top of as many raid members as possible. This way the explosion, once it reaches its destination, will not be great, and will have a certain amount of people actually have the debuff placed on them. On this diagram here, it shows what the debuff looks like underneath your character's portrait. Having one stack only does 30,000 damage, and it will tick for 15 seconds. It will stack multiple times, as many times as those flames pass over you. Having two stacks, it'll jump it up to 60,000 damage. Three stacks, 90,000 damage every second for 15 seconds. Now this will overwhelm the healers once you get beyond 3 stacks and into 4 and even 5 stacks. You want to try to drop these stacks off of you by going either left or right of the raid and out of the path of the targeted person with the flames. You can see here on the map, 2 C's are placed beside the raid. This is where you want to ordinarily try to clear those stacks. Wait for those stacks to clear before going back into the raid to absorb more of the Flames of Galakras from the targeted person. To summarize this encounter, first, group up. Group up behind Galakras, 20 to 30 yards behind her. Melee, be between the raid and Galakras. Second, get behind the raid when you're targeted. Third, clear your stacks when you reach 3 or 4. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and good luck. And if you have any feedback, please just get in touch with me and just let me know. Thank you very much.